Hi, Spanish River. We have a special video here for you just on dual enrollment. And we have our college and career coach, Dr. Daniel Keller, who's going to take you through a dual enrollment information presentation. All right, take it away, Dr. Keller.
All right. Hello, everyone. As Miss Havens introduced me, I am Dr. Keller, and I am the dual enrollment liaison for Spanish River High School. It is a very popular option that many students like to take advantage of. So we'll kind of give a little bit of a brief overview to see what it's like, why you should do it, why you shouldn't, and everything else that details that whole process. All right. So away we go. All right. So, what is dual enrollment? So, as the name implies, you will be enrolled in two places at the exact same time. You will be a high school student and you'll be at the local college. So, it's just an academic option that's available to students. So, that can be as a supplement to their schedule, uh, their 7 course schedule, or they can have it replace some periods at the end of the day, but that's for like a detailed conversation that you'll want to have with your counselor. All right, go ahead. Next slide. All right, so what is the benefit of dual enrolling? Well, as you see on this list here, it will give them the structure of how a college class works because it is very different than how a high school class works, both in time in class and just the overall structure. If any of you have taken a college class before, they give you a syllabus right in the beginning that sort of outlines the entirety of the course, and then the students are required to stay on pace with that, as opposed to the high school, which is sort of like a week by week, day by day. Not to mention the length of the class in high school is going to be 36 weeks, which is a full school year, as opposed to a college class, which has a tendency to be 15 weeks or less. Also, it is a college level course, so it will build rigor into their high school transcript. It will boost their GPA and their HPA as long as they do well. It will give them college credits, especially if they stay in the state of Florida. All of those credits that they'll earn through dual enrollment will be applicable to the college of their choosing. Plus, it does allow a student to tap into some passions, some interests that they have that are outside of the course offerings that we have here at Spanish River. Because through their regular course selection that they'll do here, we only have a select number of courses that they can choose from. So if there's something that intrigues them that we don't have, the college may have that. All right, so everything sounds great. So is there a downside? Yes, of course there is a downside. So if they do poorly, because that is a possibility, we don't like to address that, but if that is a possibility. So if they perform poorly, now they're building a college GPA that is not flattering. So if they were to get a particular grade report, then they will no longer be able to dual enroll moving forward. All of the grades that they earn at the college will transfer over to their high school transcripts. So there is no hiding the performance that happens at the college level. So if you do have poor grades at the college level, then those, being that they're on your transcript, could have negative implications when we go through the college admissions process, because not only are you providing your high school transcript to the colleges, you're also providing your college transcript. So it's really a balancing act of making sure that you do well, because all of these downside options can be avoided by a student doing well. So as long as a student does well, all of these things that I previously mentioned as far as like a downside, they are no longer applicable because they did well. Okay, so now should your student participate with dual enrollment? Yes, of course. However, there are a couple of things that they need to take into consideration. Are they mature enough to handle a college level class? Because they are expected to be and handle themselves like a college student. The college does not know that they are dual enrollment student. For all intents and purposes, they are considered to be the same as one of any of the standard college students there. So they will be handled accordingly. So there are no kind of like special treatment options for dual enrollment students. They are college students, so they will be handled accordingly. So if they are mature enough to be able to handle that level of responsibility on their own, then yes, that's a good reason to dual enroll. Also, do they have enough free time to handle a college level course? If they're taking it during the school year, do they have the time in addition to the time they're devoting to their normal studies for high school classes? Okay, if they're going to do it over the summer, are they on vacation? Are they in vacation mode? Are they going anywhere else? Do they have a job? Do they have other priorities that are pulling them away from being able to dedicate the time necessary to that college class? So it's really all about balance. Oftentimes I hear a lot that, oh my goodness, I need to dual enroll because that's what I need to do to get into college. That's what the universities are looking for. They want to see that I'm doing this in high school. Well, I hate to be a party pooper, but that is not the case. There are plenty of schools that don't offer dual enrollment as an option. So that is not going to be the secret sauce to get into college. However, if you have the opportunity, you have the maturity to participate in dual enrollment, by all means. Like, it is a great supplement to your high school transcript. But however, there's a time and place for this. You need to make sure that if you're going to participate, that you're in that position that you're going to do well, because dual enrollment is absolutely not worth your time if you're not 100% certain that you will do well. Okay, so now that we have decided whether we are or we're not going to dual enroll, all right, how do we go through the process? So we have articulation agreements with both Palm Beach State and FAU. They're both our local college. Palm Beach State Boca campus is actually on FAU's campus, so they're both at the exact same spot. Students can take classes either online or in person, depending on the availability of said classes. Okay, so there are eligibility requirements for both schools. They pretty much fall along the same lines. All right, so ninth graders, you cannot dual enroll until your ninth grade year is completed, because bullet 1 on here indicates that you must have your English credit completed. Your English credit will not be completed until your freshman year is over. So the first opportunity a freshman has to dual enroll is going to be the second half of summer, which is called Summer B. If you are interested in dual enrolling for the summer, please be careful if you are a freshman transitioning into the sophomore year, because Summer B is a 6-week term. That means the class is going to fly. We are taking a class that is structured for 15 weeks and we are squishing it into 6 weeks. The same amount of curriculum, so the class is going to fly. Just be prepared for that. Okay, so while we're on the topic of freshmen, if you are trying to dual enroll in that Summer B term, you will need a 3.5 unweighted GPA at the conclusion of your freshman year. As long as you have that, you have the GPA eligibility. You will also need college-ready placement scores, which you can acquire through the SAT, PSAT, if you're going to dual enroll at Palm Beach State. So PSAT, SAT, ACT, or PERT. The PERT will be taken in-house through Palm Beach State. So you will need to have those scores. I'll go over those scores here in a moment. Okay, while we're still on this slide, if you are already a 10th grader or above, you will need a 3.0 unweighted GPA. You will also need the placement scores. Again, PSAT, SAT, PERT, or ACT for Palm Beach State. However, if you are interested in attending FAU for dual enrollment, they will not take the PSAT score. So they do have an in-house testing, which is the AccuPlacer, which is not listed on here, but it will be in one of the upcoming slides. Okay, the college-ready scores. So if you were to take the PERT, it is very similar to the PSAT. It has a reading, writing, and math section. Okay, as promised, here are the scores. So the first thing that you'll notice is that the SAT scores are far lower than what you're accustomed to seeing. You're used to seeing gross scores, which are in the hundreds and into the thousands. So with that being said, the SAT and the PSAT, they have 3 levels of scores. They're going to have your gross score, which is just one number. Let's just say for easy math purposes, it's 1,000. Okay, that breaks down into sub-scores, which will be your English section and your math section. We'll break that 1,000 into 500 and 500. Still way too high of numbers for what's displayed here on the screen. But when you break those sub-scores down into section scores, those section scores are going to be rated out of 38. So from 8 to 38 if they took the PSAT, and 10 to 40 if they took the SAT. Those are the scores we're looking for. So where do you find them? If you go to the College Board, your student's College Board account, or if they go to their College Board account, they'll be able to download their score report, and it will reflect on there. It will show the gross score, the sub-scores, and the section scores. So as long as you have all the section scores of a 24, 25, and 24 respectively, if you have those scores, then you're fine. You are eligible from a test score standpoint. However, if for whatever reason you do not have those scores, not all of them, or you only have like partial, say you have the reading and the writing, but you do not have the math, then you can combine scores. So let's just, with that assumption, you have reading and writing and you do not have the math. Say you scored a 23 with the math. At that point, you could take the PERT or the AccuPlacer if you're at FAU, and just for that section, as long as you get the associated score necessary on those exams, then you can pair the two together, and at that point that you qualify. Okay, you will notice on here the ACT, those are the ACT scores, and you'll have to take the next generation AccuPlacer if you're interested in participating at FAU and you do not have the scores. Moving forward, the classic AccuPlacer is no longer valid for students who are just trying to qualify now, and you will see the PERT scores there. All right, that was all section 1. Those are the eligibility criteria from an academic standpoint. So after that, step 2 is going to be apply for admissions. So if for Palm Beach State, there you'll go to their website, and we're going to give you links for their websites here in a moment. So step 2 is just actually just a link on their website. You will click that, you'll make an application. FAU has a similar process, but it'll be through their website instead. For Palm Beach State, you will complete an online orientation. That will not be necessary at FAU. So there's this small differences, little nuances between the two. Okay, and again, step number 3, very straightforward. There'll be just a link button. You'll click, your student will click it. They will fill out they will watch the orientation, and then they will fill out an associated form that says that they understand everything that they learned. Finally, step number 4. Step number 4 is what will happen through the high school. Everything else that we have mentioned thus far is not through the high school, with the exception of the acquisition of the GPA. Everything is through Palm Beach State's website or FAU's website. Okay, so step number 4 will happen with the counselors. Okay, once a student has completed steps 1, 2, and 3 for Palm Beach State, then they will reach out to us and let us know what classes they're interested in taking. We will give them an authorization form. That authorization form is their permission and their payment to take these courses, because that's one thing that we didn't talk about earlier, is that dual enrollment comes at no cost to the student unless they want to dual enroll at FAU. FAU has a small charge for each individual class. We can go into further detail with that if you're interested in dual enrolling at FAU. But Palm Beach State is entirely free. FAU, small fee. Okay, so these forms serve as authorization and payment. Every time a student wants to dual enroll in any term, they will need to complete these forms. If they do not complete these forms, they are not authorized to take these classes. So this is an ongoing process. So basically, we're going to give the student that form. They will fill it out with the courses they're interested in taking. and they will submit that through the appropriate websites. Okay. Finally, once authorization forms have been submitted and approved, then they'll be able to register for classes. Okay. The authorization and the registration, they're mutually exclusive. So a student, for instance, right now can be authorized to take a course, but the registration window does not open for a couple more weeks. So again, they want to pay attention. They want to be authorized before their time to register, because once they're authorized, then once registration window opens up, they can register immediately, which is important. The longer they wait, the less seats that are available for them to acquire in the class. So really important that they time it appropriately. They want to get in as early as possible. Next slide, please. Okay, as promised, here are the websites that take you, or the links that take you directly to the dual enrollment pages for each of the universities that a student's allowed to dual enroll in. So when you click the Palm Beach State link, it will take you directly there, and you're going to look for a young lady who is in a pink shirt. The steps beneath her picture, there's going to be 4 steps as we outlined previously, and they will just follow in order, steps 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then voila, they're going to be done. Okay, as far as FAU is concerned, they will have just one page with all of the information, and there'll be associated links embedded within that. All right, that's really all we have for dual enrollment. Hopefully that covers it and answers a lot of your questions. If you were to happen to have any additional questions, please, you can reach out to me or any of your other counselors.
Yes, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate you watching through this. And we are going to post this presentation and the video on our website. So we're hopeful that it is helpful to you. Have a great day.